it seems that also kind of maybe forced you, and not even with concessions, but how to do more with less.
Oh, 100%.
And I think that's also like a really good thing, because from what I remember, and this is when I'm dating myself because I'm an old fuck. I'm not sure how old everyone's. Yeah, I'm 30. I'm turning 36 this year. But do you remember when the Blair Witch Project first came out?
Yes, I do. I was scarred.
Okay, but
like 3. So
holy shit. So now
I was about 9.
But that movie was like a no budget film, right? Like it was very, and I remember them saying that they had to figure out how to do way more with way less, and I'm guessing that's like a very good lesson to learn, especially when you're just starting out and trying to make your first couple pieces, that you have to learn how to do. You have to be far more creative with how you approach particular things, like maybe special effects or the way that you film things, even, like it might have to be like a shakier shot, just so then it's like, oh, okay, cool. We can, change up how this is going to appear.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's one scene, and it's weird. I had a friend of mine watch this the other night, and she's like, oh, this is my least favorite scene in your movie. And I'm like, what? I'm like, this is my favorite scene. Because I never saw this scene turning out the way it did, because I only saw it one way. But it came down to time and budget, and we had to get clever with it. But the scene when we're going into the car, when we're running across the lawn, we get in the car, and then we go back in the house. That was entirely different. That was going to be the scene was going to be bigger. There were a lot more beats in that scene. That was, that we were going to have in there. But we had to get rid of them. We just didn't have the time. And so I probably had like 30 shots that I wanted just for that scene. And I think we had like 3 hours left in the day. And my assistant director comes out to me and goes, all right, Matt, what are we going to do? I'm like, all right, we're going to start with this, this, and this. She's like, okay, well, just so you know, you have to cut like 20 of those. I'm like, why? She's like, we have time for 6 shots. I was like, 6? I'm like, I can't tell this whole thing in 6 shots. And so then I looked at our DP, Jonathan Lee, and I was like, dude, we have to get through all of this. This is like 2 pages of script right here. It's all action. How do we get through this in time and make it still feel effective? And he just sat there. Like, I only saw it one way. I couldn't see it any other way. And that's something I now learned, is how to see things in different lights. Like, if you go in with your A plan, but also have a B plan for scenes. And he just sat there for a couple seconds, and he's like, we're going to do a oneer. And I'm like, a oneer? How the fuck are we going to do this in a oneer? He's like, trust me. I was like, I don't, but let's do it. and then we did it. He's like, I'm going to just do, some whip pans and all the motions, and it's going to work. Trust me. And so we shot it, and it felt so fucking cheesy when we were doing it. And everybody wrapped for the night. And I just felt so discouraged, because this was like a big scene for the movie. And we edited it together that night. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, John, this is fucking genius. And then
it just worked out.
It worked out.
And
the film gods were looking upon us. Yeah.
That's always, I love when that happens, like that even happens like when I'm doing like YouTube stuff. I'm like, oh shit, just aligned today.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if you watch it, I'm so excited to say that we're going to have a couple theatrical screenings coming up. We've gotten into a couple festivals that we're going to be playing this fall. So people will be able to hear it with the 5.1 mix.